Another round of federal cuts to report on a Monday. Sources tell CBS News the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA as you've known it, bracing to lose an additional 1,000 employees. So to put that into perspective, that's on top of last week's cuts of nearly 900 employees. These massive cuts also include cutting a scientific agency that's responsible for weather forecasts and coastal restoration. So let's talk about it. Let's bring in CBS News White House reporter and producer Olivia Rinaldi. Olivia, good to see you, my friend. So a lot of people wondering how much more can be cut at NOAA.
Yeah, Reed, look, it's a great question. We're hearing that these 1,000 employees they are preparing to lose are a part of essentially this restructuring that was asked of all federal agencies to be done. This is part of that reduction in force memo. Remember, that was one of the first things sent out several weeks ago when the Trump administration said they're looking to restructure the federal workforce. So think of it this way, 1,000 employees that could be cut as part of the restructuring efforts. We know about 900 probationary employees that were laid off, and there could be an extra 20% of staffing cuts in the next round of layoffs. This is a workforce that's about 12,000 people. You start doing the math, those numbers add up. About 50% of this workforce is scientists and engineers. And what they work on specifically is weather forecasts, coastal restoration, and a lot of their work really affects more than about 1/3 of America's GDP. So this really does have an impact on a granular level on not only just the federal workforce, but the economy as well. It has ramifications that go beyond just weather forecasting and telling people, hurricane predictions. So important to note there. But really, we're seeing a major restructuring of this federal workforce and certainly a lot of layoffs that could be coming their way. Now, I do want to note this restructuring pattern that we're seeing across the federal government. A lot of agencies are being asked to submit their plans by March 13th. That's coming up this week. So we're going to learn a lot more, not only from NOAA, but from other agencies as well, who they're planning to cut, what their restructuring could look like. Certainly a lot we'll be following in this week ahead.
Olivia, I want to go from cuts at NOAA to the cuts at USAID. You have some reporting on the reviews that went into some of those decisions?
Yeah, this morning, Secretary Marco Rubio, he's the State Department secretary, he posted on X early this morning, I should note, while he's on his way over to Saudi Arabia to meet with the Ukrainians about a potential minerals deal or perhaps ending the war in Ukraine. He wrote on X, after a 6-week review, we are officially canceling 83% of programs at USAID. He said there are about 5,200 contracts that are now canceled, amounting to about tens of billions of dollars. He said he did this in consultation with Congress, and that remaining 18% of programs that they're going to keep are going to be administered under the State Department rather than USAID, which is a standalone agency or was a standalone agency. We're still learning what's the impact specifically on USAID if it will be completely shuttered. I do want to note there at the end of that statement, he said, "Thank you to DOJ and our hardworking staff." This comes at the end of a weekend where we saw Musk and Rubio potentially patching up any issues between the two of them. There were reports last week, especially from the New York Times, that these two men had had a rift between the two of them. We know they were both down in Florida this weekend. They had met together and had dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday night. We have seen several posts, I should note, on X by Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, thanking DOJ, telling other countries they should be thanking DOJ. Particularly, I'm reminded of one post where he publicly attacked the Polish minister who was accusing Elon Musk of trying to cancel Starlink in Ukraine. We saw Rubio tweet there that they should be thanking Elon Musk for Starlink in Ukraine. So all important to note there that these cuts to USAID are part of this larger, administration plan to cut down costs, but also we saw some potential arguments between cabinet members as a result of these ongoing cuts.
Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News White House reporter and producer, thank you so much for that report from our nation's capital.